Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, Conversations and Cocktails with Brilliant Women, the podcast where we uncork the stories and insights of exceptional female leaders from all walks of life. Our goal is to serve up wisdom, tips, and inspiration, and to support each other in rediscovering ourselves and what sets our souls on fire. We'll also share personal memories, paired with friends and a favorite beverage. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe that the best stories are served up over a glass of wine or a cocktail. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots. Angel Wilborn has been a guest on the Penny for Your Shots podcast before. We met on a Facebook group for female podcasters, swapped interviews, and quickly hit it off. In this episode we recorded in December, we caught up on our personal lives. Angel is actively involved at her son's school, and it's fascinating and super fun to hear how elementary school kids are incorporating technology and media into their daily lives. They're creating some amazing things. Angel and I chatted also about making commitments to ourselves and sticking with it through disappointments. It's so important to have a coach or a buddy, or both, for accountability and encouragement. Why is it easier to keep a commitment to someone else than one we make for ourselves? By the way, in my programs and coaching, we explore that, and I help you break out of this cycle to be able to have a greater impact for your people. If you would like support and inspiration, we should talk. Angel is growing 2 podcasts in 2025. The links to those and to all of today's references are in the show notes. I've migrated all of those to my new website, pennyforyourshots.com. Click the podcast link at the top to peruse all the episodes, or search by topic or guest, or listen to the latest episode. Leave a review to let me know what you think on your favorite podcast platform. Here is Angel Wilborn. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good, Penny, running in here on 2 wheels, but I'm good.
Coming in hot.
Yes, pretty much coming in hot. Yes, but I'm here.
I love it.
I'm here.
I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes, it's just been my life these past couple of days here, but I'm making it do what it needs to do. So, but good. I got to be on the school morning news for tomorrow, so I'm excited about that.
That's fun. What's that about?
So they just every morning they do like the morning news, just like updates for what's going on around the school and everything. And this week they did their exploratory showcase. So the grades 3rd through 5th graders get to do what they call exploratory classes. So my son did engineering for his. There's some who do like photography, different things like that. And they just asked us to go in and sit in on some of the ones in case like parents could make it. So the kids, would have someone there to support them. So I was like, well, I'll go back to that one because I thought that since it was in the same space as where my son's was, I thought it was the same thing. I just thought all the grades did the same thing. But the 5th graders actually do media. And so we got to see like their outtakes. Yeah, it was cool. So we got to see like the outtakes from them doing like the morning news and all their bloopers and stuff cute. That. And then they said that they were going to record their show, I guess, for tomorrow. And then the first couple of ones for when they come back in January. And they was like, if you want, you can invite your parents to be in it and they can get in on it and do your segment with you. And we're going to do the dance party and they could do the dance party. So I was like, so I went and asked the library teacher. I said, well, as an after school counselor, can I be a part of the dance party? And she was like, you can be a part of it. I was like, okay, cool. And she always sends it out to the staff the day before it actually airs. And so I get the staff email. So I was like, I wonder if it made it in there. And I'm looking and you can see me like dancing, but it was hilarious because when we were doing it, she's like, so the music's going to be added in after we record. So just dance and pretend like you hear music in your head. When you're dancing. She's like, whatever song you want to pretend like you're hearing in your head. And one of the kids was like, pick a Christmas song. And the parents were like, how do you dance to a Christmas song? So we just all were like dancing. And one of the ladies afterwards, she said, we're just all going to be offbeat. I was like, yeah, we are. But it was fun. It was cool. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So do the kids get a part in like the whole, like the production of it too?
Yeah. Like the kids, like it was really cool to watch like the kids do the, they used to help like write the scripts, but because they're only in there, I think she said for like 40 minutes a week and they're trying to film like 3 or 4 days at a time, they don't get as much with like writing the script or anything like that. but they record on iPads. So they had like the iPad set up with like the teleprompters recording the segments and everything. Like it was really cool to see them doing it and putting on.
Wow.
Yeah, they were doing all the stuff. Like they were telling their parents, it's like, okay, you go over here and you got to like stand right here. And this is where I usually like stand at for my segment. And this is how I do. And so, yeah, it
Wow.
was cool. Yeah.
So that is, I've never heard of that. I'm, of course, old.
Listen,
Excuse
don't. Somebody made me feel old the other day because in after school, you're trying to put on a DVD for the kids. And one of the other counselors, she's like, so what do you do when a DVD scratch? Like it won't play and it's kind of scratched. So what should I do? I said, are you asking me this because I'm old or because you really don't know the answer to it? And she's like, I mean, you look like you were around when DVDs came out. I was like, go get some alcohol and rub the alcohol on it. And that should do the trick. But thanks a lot. So
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
yeah.
like a DVD is old.
It is. I mean, I actually do remember when DVDs came out, but just the
Oh
fact
my
that
goodness.
that she said
Yeah.
that, yeah, made me feel some type
Yeah.
of way.
Did
Mhm.
you have record players?
I did. My parents did though. I know
Okay.
what a record. I know what a record player
Oh my
is.
gosh.
I definitely know what it is, and not letting the needle like scratch it and
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
that. Yep, know what a record player is. I had a Walkman. I had a portable CD player.
Uh-huh.
I was around before they started like putting CD players in cars, or if you had an older
Oh yeah.
car where you would get the portable CD player and you like connect it. It had like a cassette tape that you put into the. So I was around when cassette players were in cars, and you put the
Yeah.
cassette tape in there, and it played off of your portable CD player, and you had to be careful not to hit a bump. Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I
Yeah.
remember those things, but the DVD comment, I really
Yeah,
felt some
thanks a
type of
lot.
way. Yeah, felt some type of
Yeah.
way about that. And one of my kindergartners one time, he said, "My mom is 57 years old." I said, "Your mom is not 57 years old." And he was like, "Yeah, because if she was 57, she'd be dead." I was like,
Oh.
no, no, no. There are a lot of 57-year-olds and people older than 57 that are still alive. He was like, but she's pretty old though, isn't she? I was like, okay, so
Oh my
you're gonna have to
goodness.
wait. I was like, there are plenty of 57-year-olds that are still alive. He's like, but you're pretty old though, right? I was like, you know what?
It
Leave me
depends on
alone.
who you ask.
Yeah, I'm like, leave me alone right now. Leave me alone. Yeah. So
Yeah,
mhm.
okay. Well, okay, did you know that I turned 60 a few weeks ago?
No. Well, first of all,
Yeah.
I was shocked when one time when we talked, you said that you were a grandma, and I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
seriously? I don't believe that. And so I was still going, I was like, I mean, you're still young, but I was going with like younger, like, maybe early 50s, like late 40s,
Yeah.
grandma-ish type thing. I was like, I'm not gonna ask you, but
Okay.
60, I
Well,
would have
gosh,
never.
Angel, you're my favorite.
No, I would have never guessed. I'd never guessed 50. Like I said, late 40s,
Oh
very early
gosh.
50s, but
No. And it didn't it's not bothering me a ton unless I like really think about it,
right.
Like
Yeah,
just the number sounds
it
old,
does.
but and I just noticed fairly recently that I'm really starting to look
I don't think
older.
so.
Yeah, it's
I
all right.
don't.
It's just a number, and I
Yeah,
am doing things to feel younger and
right.
keep on top of things and do more. I don't know. I love technology. I
Yeah.
love staying on top of things. So my dad was the same way. I
Okay.
had him till he was almost 103.
Oh wow. I think you told me that before. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Okay.
and he loved technology. He loved all that
Okay.
new stuff. So he was afraid to break the iPad, but other than that, he was really good with.
That is too precious. Oh
Yeah,
my
he was
goodness.
cute.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, it is what it is. Sometimes I don't feel like I'll be 39 in a couple of weeks here. And so sometimes my husband will be saying something and he's like, you're 40, right? I'm like, first of all, I'm not 40. I'm
Okay,
still
yeah.
38 and I have a whole
Like
nother
slow
year
your
left.
roll.
And yeah, like I have a whole nother year left in my 30s. But I think it finally hit me that I guess I was like an adult when how you're filling out like a survey or something like that and it asks for your age range. And when I
Uh-huh.
had to go over that 35 age range, like the
Yeah.
first time I had to go over that, I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute here. And I still just like
Yeah.
look around sometimes. I'm just like, I'm really an adult, like
Yeah.
a whole grown up
That
adult.
next
And
phase.
sometimes I don't feel like that grown up adult, but I'm like, wasn't I
I
just
know.
18 yesterday? Like going off to college?
When did this happen? Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
I
get
know.
it, but
Well, I'll tell you what, you start like getting the finger out. I start wagging my finger.
oh,
When you see the articles on like a elderly woman and she's like 53 or whatever, and like, oh, you slow
yeah.
your roll. Yeah, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
No, that's
No,
not
let's just not
elderly.
use that word. Let's not label
Yeah.
people.
Let There you go. No labels. No labels. And
Yeah,
you know what? It's not elderly, it's wiser. It's wiser.
that's right.
She is 53 years wise. Like
There you
there,
go.
we're gonna
Yeah.
rebrand it. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
there
gonna
you go. Well,
Yeah.
and that took me a while to kind of own too. Somebody called me wise earlier this year, and I'm like, wise? That sounds old, but now
It's like, okay, I'll take that over elderly.
okay,
Like I
now I'm
feel like
owning it. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like if you're gonna say elderly, that needs to come with like some social security benefits. I need to get the senior citizen
Hmm.
discount.
Yeah.
Like I
Yep.
that's what I feel. And I guess I should because I refer to well, I refer to my dad and my stepmom as the old people. They'll both be 75 next year. So I'm like always referring to them as the old people or like the elderly people or
Yeah.
something
And that
like
sounds so
that.
young to me.
It, and they are, and my dad, like, if you see them,
Uh-huh.
you would never think they were that age. But yeah, but I'm always like, oh, the elderly people, or sometimes my mom will do something and I'll tell my son, I'm like, this is what you have to look forward to when mommy gets old and she can't figure things out on her own anymore. Mom's like, stop telling him that. I was like, I mean, I'm just trying to prepare him. No one prepared me, so
Well,
trying to help him out
mm,
here.
yeah. Well, we'll stay just fit and active and young as much as we can, like
There
young
you go.
thinking anyway.
Yes, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, Penny.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we haven't talked about work yet.
I know we've been catching up. So much
Just
fun.
catching up a little bit. Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So, what's going on? What's new with you? You've been doing the PR podcast and the business
Yes.
and organization podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
what you got going? What's your passion right now? What are you working on?
Podcasting. I have really realized that like podcasting is my passion, my main focus. I kept hearing like all last year this voice like telling me focus on the podcast, and I'm like,
Wow.
what does that mean? And so finally, I can't remember if we talked about this last time we talked. I don't think so because I don't think I decided to do it yet. So that was when I finally went ahead and kind of fine-tuned my stuff that I had for my PR Toolkit podcast, and that came out in September of 24. So that is yeah, it's going to be seasonal versus how my other podcast is just all year round, except for when I take breaks occasionally. But so the first season was 10 episodes, and I'm gearing up for the second season to come out in January. I need to finish writing that and recording it, but it's PR tips in 5 minutes or less. Um, so
Nice.
yeah, so the first season I kind of just talked a little bit about like what PR is and different ways that you can incorporate it into your business. Season 2 is going to be titled What the Pitch, and it's going to be it's going to be about like how to pitch yourself and like do's and don'ts of pitching and different things like that. So,
I love it.
thank
So is it
you.
geared more towards like entrepreneurs, or like what kind of business people do you work with?
So it's geared more towards like solopreneurs and
Mm.
small business owners. And when I say, because I was recording a podcast with someone yesterday, that was like, I hate to say small business owners because I realized that small business can mean like up to 500 employees. And I was like, ooh, I never thought about it.
Oh,
I was like,
that
yeah,
sounds
for this,
big.
yeah, that sounds pretty big to me. I was like, when for the sake of me, when I'm saying small business, I mean like 5 to 10 people, or either you're just
Okay.
completely doing it by yourself. So yes,
Uh-huh.
that's more of my focus is solopreneurs because even like when we talked last, I still feel like they don't get the PR a lot. They don't feel like they need it because they are a smaller business, and so they just kind of ignore it. And PR is so much more than just what big name brands, would
Mm.
need. I mean, PR includes a crisis management plan, I live in a flood zone area. So what are you going to do if your business has to close because you're a brick and mortar and your business is flooded? Like that's a crisis. Or what are you going to do? A perfect example is the upstate where I live in. A couple of months ago, we had a really bad storm and there were people without power for like 3 or 4 weeks. If you're an online
Oh
business, what are
gosh.
you going to do if you're without power for 3 or 4 weeks? Like that's a crisis. That's part of PR. Come up with a crisis management plan. Disgruntled employee or a negative review that has gone viral. All that type of stuff leads into
Mm,
PR, and small businesses don't really think about it until it happens, and then they're like, "What am I supposed to?
scrambling.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do now?"
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I really want to like talk more about that and get it out
Mm-hmm.
there more so that people understand that it's not just for big name brands. You need it too.
Well, that's good information to know because I feel like a lot of us who are solopreneurs or small businesses, we have so many other priorities. Like we're trying to get the
Right.
business off the ground, we're trying to market it, we're trying to do all the things. And
Mm-hmm.
then, oh my gosh, you don't even think
Yeah.
about what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Right. Exactly. And you don't know it until it happens. And then you're like, ooh, I should have known that. And it's like, well, nobody
How
told
would you?
me. And I think when I was doing my podcast interview yesterday, I was also talking about it too. It's just like, or sometimes, I don't know. But you don't know what goes into being a business owner until you're actually like in the trenches trying to figure it out. Because I know
Yeah.
for me personally, when I first started, I just thought, oh, you're a business owner. You pick out a name and you open a business
Ooh,
checking
that's my
account.
favorite color.
Right, that's my favorite color. And then boom, you kind of go from there. Like no one's thinking about the insurance and the taxes and the LLCs and the, sole proprietorship or the whatever, the S corporation or whatever it is. Like
Hmm.
nobody's really, I mean, some people may be thinking about that, but most people aren't. So like you said, you don't know until
Hmm.
until you know. So if I can
Yeah,
help the next person know, then cool. I'm fine with that.
that's cool. Do
Yeah.
you, do you also work with like terms and conditions and privacy
Oh
policies and that kind of
no,
thing? Or is that
no,
more
no.
the legal side of it?
That's more of the legal side of it. I will say
Hmm.
that I found a great resource for it. I joined this contract club and it was $30 when I joined. Now they've gone up to $200.
Oh,
But
wow.
it's $200 for all the contracts that you'll ever need. And if there's like a contract that you need and it's not on there, you can just message them and they will create it for you. But it's literally like privacy policies for your website, terms and conditions for your websites. If you're an event planner, contracts for that, contracts for sponsorships, podcast guest release forms, like any kind of contract that you could possibly think of, it's
Wow.
in there. So it's like, oh, okay, that was pretty cool. So yeah, I stay away from the terms and conditions and all
Yeah,
the
that's a
legal stuff.
lot.
Yeah, no, I wanted to be a lawyer at one point in time,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, didn't go that route. So
Good for you.
I leave that to some things I'm all about, I'll Google it or I'll try to DIY it, but some things
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, that's not my
It's too
wheelhouse.
scary.
I'm gonna stay out of that one. I'm gonna leave it to a pro for that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Well, and you're a professional not marketer, um, public
PR,
relations.
yes,
Yes, public relations manager, and you've had your own company for quite a while, right, Angel?
yes, yes, about
Since college?
2 years. No, so I went to college for PR.
Okay.
Yes, and then that kind of got put on the back burner, and then my business started off as a virtual assistant business, and then switched over to
Okay.
PR. But I have had my company for about 2 years now.
Okay. Cool.
Yes,
I
yeah.
love it. All right. So you've got this tool for people that they can sign up for in January. Is that what you're
So no, so it's called, the name of the podcast is called PR Toolkit,
uh-huh.
and it will start back in January. So right now there's 10 episodes out for it, and it's available on all the podcasting apps that you can go check out and see. And it's just PR Toolkit. And then season 2 will come out. I can't remember the exact date, but season 2 is scheduled to start back in January because I wanted to do the seasons like a season each quarter. And I figured that would also
Mm-hmm.
help to keep me on track. The first season obviously got like a little off track because I started it in September and it ended in November. And I was like, okay, it'll be a little bit longer in between seasons than I wanted it to be, but I really kind of wanted to start on like that beginning of a new quarter, beginning of
Yeah.
a new season. So yes, it'll start back in January, but you all can definitely check out season 1 now.
Nice. Yeah, I've been listening.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You've got some really good tips in there.
Thanks.
I
I
like the other
appreciate.
podcasts too, where you're talking about organization.
Yes, the Modco podcast. So that one,
Yeah.
it'll be 2 years in April for that. I can't believe that it'll be two
Wow.
years for it. I know that's so crazy. But yes, so talking about organization on there, entrepreneurship. And I've also realized that kind of just been talking about like life in general. So I didn't just want to, because I feel like a lot of times when we're talking about the organization or we're talking about the entrepreneurship, it all ties back into your life. And so we kind of get
Mhm.
into that a little bit. And I don't want to like leave that out because I think it fits in so well with the show and it's such kind of a great flow. And it just shows the realness of like life and what people go through, and that not everything is just all roses and rainbows. And, we're real people going through real stuff, just trying to figure it out day by day. So, yes, there's episodes about organizing on there, like organizing for your business, organizing for your home, organizing your finances, whether it's your personal finances or your business finances. Had several episodes about like mental health. I've had a couple of actual licensed therapists on the show who have
Oh,
talked
nice.
about it. Yes, I've had people on there who've talked about like their own mental health struggles and how that played a part in their organization or even their business. So it's something for everyone. I feel like everyone could, benefit from it and get something out of any of the episodes. Like I share my journey on there. I share like my experiences. I mean, there's sometimes that something will happen to me and I'm like, oh, this will make a great podcast episode. So I'll sit down and I'll write it out, like my most recent, because that one's on a break now for the end of the year. But my second to last episode, I think it was entitled Bitter Quitter. And that actually came from, I had just finished doing a 6-week Bible study with some friends of mine. And the Bible study was about the five habits of a woman or something like that, based off of the book of Ruth. And one of the days was entitled Bitter Quitter. And I just sat back and I started thinking about it. And it was like asking you to name things that you had been a bitter quitter about. And I was like, oh, I could probably name a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I know like a lot of bitter quitters. And I actually ended up doing an episode about being a bitter quitter. And my last episode of the year was about self-care, just like self-care tips that you can do for yourself that are free and or
Mm.
like super expensive, like less than $5. So I've had someone on there talk about imposter syndrome. Penny's been on
Yeah.
there twice and will be on there again. So we've talked about wine. So it's just a great mixture of,
Yeah.
a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
Thank
Um,
you.
so what I haven't listened to the bitter quitter episode yet. But what does it mean to you to be a bitter quitter?
So the way that the book broke it down, which I thought was like really great, it was like, so the example that I used on my episode was the time that was when I was doing boot camp. And so I had been doing this boot camp for like a month or something like that. I was doing it 3 times a week, getting up at the crack of dawn to make it to this boot camp.
Mm.
And I had a doctor's appointment. I think it was like a follow up or something like that. And I was so excited to go to the doctor because, when you go to the doctor, they're going to weigh you. And I was like, yes, I have been doing this boot camp for the past month. Like, this is great, perfect. I know that I've lost at least 5 pounds. I get to the doctor, I had actually gained some weight. And so the first step of a
Because you
bitter
gained
quitter,
muscle, maybe.
right? But
That
I
didn't
didn't think
pop into
about
your
that.
head.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
pop into my head. So the first point in being a bitter quitter is that you get disappointed. So I was
Uh-huh.
disappointed that I had gained instead of losing weight, which in turn made me bitter because I was like, okay, I've been working hard at this,
Uh-huh.
doing this and putting it out there and trying to get into shape and, working out and everything. and nothing's working. So it's like, why am I even doing this? So now I'm bitter because I'm like, why am I even doing this? And so then I quit because now I'm
Oh,
disappointed, which has led to me being bitter. And now I've quit. And I think like after a couple weeks after I quit, I was talking to one of my friends or something, and I was telling her about it. She's like, and she said the same thing you did. She's like, you probably gained muscle. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't think about that. And I've been waking up at 4:30 in the morning for a month and a half. I don't want to gain anything. I want to lose something. And so
yeah.
just being a bitter quitter, I feel like it's when you're doing something that either whether you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it, it's something that's going to help you reach a goal that you have in mind. And then something comes on anytime that you're working on a goal or working towards something, there's going to be a setback in it or disappointment in it. And so sometimes we allow that disappointment to completely take over us and we don't look at any of the good that may have come from it. All we see is the disappointment. And then that leads us to be bitter because we start talking down to ourselves. We start being negative
Mm.
to ourselves.
Hmm.
And then you just get to the point that you're like, well, what's the purpose in this? Why am I even bothering to do this
Yeah.
it's, if I'm not going to get what I need from it?
It's such a cycle.
It
Yeah.
is. It
And
is.
we talk to ourselves worse than we would ever talk to a bestie or anyone, really, even a
Yes.
stranger.
Right. Like the
Yeah.
way I mean, and I'm guilty of it. The way that I've talked to myself sometimes, I was like, oh, and my therapist even used to ask me when I was sitting in therapy and I'd say something. She's like, would you say that to your son?
What's
I was like, absolutely not. I would never talk to him like that. She's like, okay, so why would you talk to yourself
yeah.
like that? You
Yeah.
know? And she's like, what if he hears you talking to yourself like that? I'm like, well, when you put it like that, I mean, she's like, no, that's what I want you to think about. Like, if you wouldn't
Yeah.
talk to him like that and you wouldn't want him to hear you talking to yourself like that, why do you talk to yourself like that? And it's like, oh,
Yep.
okay.
That's one of the things I work on with my courses with people, because a lot of our limiting beliefs are just stories we've told ourselves over and over again until they become truth. They become just like, second nature, the back of your
Right.
hand, and just breaking that habit and that cycle of what we say and our beliefs, the
Mm-hmm.
things that we've said over and over that become truths, and they're not.
Right. Right.
No, you're not fat. No, you're not lazy.
Right.
No, you're not. But yeah, it's hard when you're in the middle of it and you get this disappointment strikes you,
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
And
pulling
it's,
yourself up.
yeah. And it's crazy because, the things that we tell ourselves so much that end up becoming our truths, they're always negative things. Like I've never
Mm-hmm.
heard anyone like tell themselves something encouraging so much till it becomes their truth and they're trying to continue to go after it. It even when when somebody's working on something, I've never heard anybody be like, yeah, I told myself great job because I accomplished step one of what I was trying to do. But if you fail at step
Mm-hmm.
one, or if you have a setback in step one, you're ready to talk down to yourself. But if you finish
Mm.
step one, why can't we talk positive to ourselves and congratulate ourselves and celebrate
Yep.
that we accomplished that first step?
Dance
You're
party.
right. Woohoo. Woo-woo. Yeah. All about a good dance party.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really important to lift yourself up and have a buddy. If you can't do it for yourself yet, have some accountability with a partner, a friend, a coach,
Yes.
somebody that
Somebody.
can help you.
Yes, somebody. Yeah. Just
Mm-hmm.
don't ask my son or my husband because they'll make you stick to it. I told him, I was like,
Little
oh
tough
my
love from them.
I told him like this month, I was like, oh, my goal is to go to the gym 15 times this month. And so my son like created a schedule. He's like, okay, you can go on this day. He's like, you can go every other day. And I was like, okay.
The
And then I
third
think
grader created this.
the third grader created this, and I was like, okay. And so I think I had started off on a Monday, and then I didn't go that Tuesday. So that's how he's like, well, you can go every other day. And so then I didn't go that Wednesday. He's like, Mommy, you got to get up. You're
You're
supposed to go
behind.
to, he was like, you're supposed to go to the gym today. And I was like, I don't really feel like it. So I ended up going on Thursday. He's like, you're supposed to go every other day. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so I think last week I was like, man, I've only been to the gym 4 times this month. He's like, well, we still have X amount of days left in the month. So if you can go this many days. And I said, well, I'll be able to go all next week, which is the week now that we're recording this on Thursday. I was like, so that'll be 5 days. I was like, and that'll put me to 9. I said, I honestly don't know how I'm going to get the other 6 days in. I said, I'll have to do it on the weekend because you'll be home from school and the gym doesn't have a daycare. So I was like, well, I don't know, how I'm going to do it. And he's like, well, you could still do it that Monday and Tuesday before Christmas because Gaga will be here and she can stay home with me. He was like, and then you can go on Saturday and Sunday. So that'll give you, he's like, and you have to go all week next week. So that'll give you like 9 days if you do it like that. I was like,
my gosh.
oh, okay, cool. I have not gone to the gym one day this week. So he's
Oh
like,
my
have you been to the
goodness.
gym? I'm like, huh? What? I can't. Sorry, can't hear you. I don't know. I don't know what I did. Can't hear you right now. I don't know what you
Oh
said
dear.
there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So a thing that popped through my head was like, oh my gosh, he is a little problem solver, a goal setter, and
Mhm.
he's got a plan.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes, he does.
You must be so proud of him.
I am very proud of him. If only, he'd have the same plan with getting his own
His
stuff
own
together
stuff.
when
Yeah.
he's supposed to put it back. But no, he is definitely a little problem solver. He will come up with something. He'll come up with a solution for something. He's very good in math. So that's why he was like, well, we have this many days left. And then if you break it down like this, and then you do this, and
Uh-huh.
yeah. So if you need a
Wow.
little tough love or a little encouragement,
Yeah.
I can send my 2 motivators. I can send them your way because
Bring in the reinforcements.
right, yeah. I mean, and I appreciate though because there have been mornings where I'm just like I'm going to the gym, and then I'm like I'm not going to the gym, and you have both of them like you said you were going to go to the gym, and
Yeah.
I'm like, can y'all leave me
Oh
alone
my
and
gosh,
stop
that's
judging
so
me?
tough.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and you have the best intentions
right.
and you want to do this thing, and then you make this promise to yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
then oh, it's so hard. So it's that whole integrity thing that you want to be like when you feel like you haven't done what you said you were going to do for yourself,
Right.
where
Yeah.
you wouldn't let your friend down.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah.
Exactly. So here,
Yeah.
it's one of those things again where it's like we treat ourselves worse than we would our besties. And
We do.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Gotta do better. Gotta do
Oh,
a lot better. We
well,
all
and
do.
there's that. Okay, and there now we've layered on some guilt,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just perpetuates itself as this negative spiral and this circle that keeps going. So yeah,
It does. Yeah,
yeah.
I
Step out of that a
agree.
second. Take a
Yeah.
deep breath. Be like, I'm
Regroup
okay the way I
yourself.
am. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Regroup. Find
Yeah.
out what flows with you, what goes well
What
with you,
works?
and
What
yes, and what
doesn't?
works, and let's go with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
4:30 in the morning isn't a really good thing.
No, I'm not a morning person.
I'm
Like
not
I don't,
either.
yeah, unless I'm like going on a trip or something like that. And even then, I'm
Mm-hmm.
still like I'm up to go on said trip and I'm getting the stuff together. But I'd really prefer if no one talked to me or spoke to me at that time of morning while I'm trying to get myself
Yeah.
together for what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm not a 4:30, 5 o'clock a.m. type of girl. That's just
No.
it's never been me.
I
Never
need to
been
be
me.
quiet. I need to ease into the day a bit.
Yes. But I think the best advice, because I'm more of like a night owl. Um, and I've always preferred just to like sleep in as late as I could. I think the best advice that someone ever gave me was when I realized that in college you could create your own schedule. And I was like, oh, heck yes, none of my classes are going to start until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon so I can sleep all day. And someone was like, do not do that. There's like, even if you're not a morning person, they said, go ahead. They said, if it's not an 8 o'clock class, at least do like a 9 o'clock class and try to get your classes for like, if it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, try to get like 9, 10, 11. They was like, try to be done with your schedule by noon if you can help. And I was like, why would I want to do that? They said, so that way you have the rest of the day to do what it is that you want to do, take a nap, do whatever. I was like, and I'm so happy that I followed that advice because that was
Oh, good.
honestly the best thing to be done with all of my classes by like noon or 1 o'clock and just have the rest of
Hmm.
the day when people are going to class. And then my senior year was the year when I ended up getting into like my major classes that some of those wouldn't be offered until like 3:30 in the afternoon or like 4:45 in the afternoon. I was like, oh my gosh, I hate this so much. And that was the year that I lived off campus. So it's funny, I had the year that I moved off campus, my senior, I had an 8 a.m. class, which was my first 8 a.m. class I had my entire college career. And
Wow.
then I had a like 1 o'clock or 1:30 class or something like that. So I had the 8 o'clock. I had the 8 o'clock class, and I think that was my only class that I had on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I was good with that. Tuesday and Thursday was like my crazy day where I had like a 9:25 class, and that ended at 10 whatever. And then I didn't have another class until 1:30. And I was like, the year that I move off campus, I have these big gaps in my schedule. So like, what am I supposed to do? They had like another class at 1:30, then like another one at like 4:45. I was like, this is not my life. This is not what I signed up for. So that kind
Yeah,
of
especially
threw a
your
damper.
senior year.
Right, right. But
That's
yeah,
tough.
that was the best advice that I got, was just go ahead and
Uh-huh.
get it
Get it
over with
done.
and be done
Yep.
with it. So I do try to stick to that. Like if I can get something done earlier, I will get it
Mm-hmm.
done earlier so that I can have the rest of the day for myself. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm not typically a 4:30, 5 o'clock type of
No,
girly.
not that early. Yeah.
Mm-mm,
No. Mm-mm.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a really good piece of advice though. Getting rid of or doing the things that move the needle the most
Yes.
first thing in the morning,
Yes. Get
or
it
first thing when you start working anyway. You
right. When you start
get that
working, go
done.
ahead and, or like the mundane tasks that you just don't like to do. Like if you can, go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and try to get that over with and done so that you can have the rest of the day to enjoy it. Because if you don't, it's always still in the back of your head, like, I still
Yes.
got to do this. Oh, I haven't finished doing this yet. And you're
Yeah,
not really enjoying the stuff that you actually enjoy doing.
exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all about being present. If being in the moment and enjoying what you're doing and listening to the person that's in front of you,
Hmm.
giving them the time they deserve.
Right.
And if it's
Right.
you, yeah, have fun doing what you're doing and not be thinking about all that stuff that you didn't get done.
Right. I agree,
Yeah.
Penny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yep.
What else is new with you? What are you excited about for 2025?
Penny, honestly, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say I don't know. Um, I'm excited to see where my podcast will go. I have connected with some other people, and we've talked about like doing some different things. So I'm excited to see where that will go. And I'm really excited about like the connections that I have made. I feel like I made some connections with some good, like genuine people. So I'm just kind of seeing where things are going to
Yeah.
go. I don't want to like overthink it or kind of like overstress
Yeah.
it, or I don't want to be like, okay, I want this, and this to
Yeah.
happen. And
Be
then because you
attached to something.
right, because then that's like
Mm-hmm.
another disappointment is when it doesn't happen. And maybe it was
Mm-hmm.
never meant for it to happen, but you kind of get in here and like, oh, this to happen. And then you're kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, it didn't happen. You kind of feel disappointed in yourself. So, and I've never
Mm-hmm.
been a person, I don't like set resolutions or anything like that. I'll set goals for stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna keep working on what it is that I'm working on and just see where 2025 takes me, Penny.
I love
So
it. I
yes.
love it. Yeah. Well, it's good to have, not necessarily a plan, but a goal that you want to
Right.
hit and to break down to know what it's going to take to get there, but then not to have everything structured so tightly
Mm-hmm.
that you don't leave room for magic because, you got to
Exactly.
stay open because maybe what you have planned isn't big enough.
Yes.
Maybe God and the universe have other plans for you that are much bigger that you could ever dream. And you
Exactly.
want to leave room for that.
Exactly. Yes. Like, we think on such a small level, but God
Mm-hmm.
thinks on such a bigger level. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to leave room for that. I don't want to be so stuck in my own ways and so stuck on this is what I think was supposed to happen or what was supposed to be going on that I
Attached to
lose,
an outcome.
that I get attached to it and I kind of lose focus and then I turn into a bitter quitter again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Exactly.
so we're gonna see what happens in 2025. So
Okay. Well,
yeah.
good. I'll be rooting for you.
Yay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I need to rephrase that because I have an Australian friend and she says that's not a good thing. So
Oh, it's not okay. So what do we say?
it's something a little naughty. So we're
Oh,
going to say I'm cheering for you.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna have to tell me offline what
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, we'll talk later.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll chat later.
Okay. So, what are you going to celebrate with? What's your favorite cocktail of the moment?
Ooh. So lately it hasn't been, I don't even know what the last one was that I told you
We had
about.
Angel's Brew, I think was the first one
Yeah,
with the
that was the first
peach.
one. Yeah, the
And then
peach
you
and
had
the
a
crown.
lemonade and raspberry.
Okay, tequila. That was what it
Yep.
was. So I was like, I couldn't remember. I don't know. I've been kind of like sticking to those two lately. And
Uh-huh.
kind of like mixing it up with just like whatever syrup I have around, or maybe I don't have all of the ingredients. I've been doing pineapple and tequila a lot lately too. So like a
Ooh,
tequila sunrise, but with pineapple juice instead of orange juice
yum.
in it. Yep, I've been doing that. And then I've also been experimenting with different flavors with the lemonade and tequila. Like I think one time I
Mm-hmm.
did peach, another time I just did like grenadine or something like that. So kind of
Mm-hmm.
mixing up what I already have and what I already know is working for me. And with the Angel's Brew,
Mm-hmm.
I've tried that one with raspberry as well. And
I
I
didn't even know that
enjoyed
was a thing.
I tried it with the raspberry. So that one was orange juice, pineapple juice, and peach crown. And originally
Uh-huh.
I had said put grenadine in it, but one day I think we were out of grenadine and I had raspberry syrup. I had raspberry and peach syrup, and I was like, I don't want
Sure.
to.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't want to add more peach when it's already peach. So I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I'll do raspberry. So I did raspberry with it, and it was good too.
Wow.
Hmm.
It's like a fruit punch.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of been my
Yum.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant that there was a raspberry crown or
Oh,
something
no, no,
out
no, no, no.
there.
They do have a new one that they came out with. I think it was something random. I want to say blueberry, but I feel like that's just not right. Blackberry,
Mm.
maybe? I don't know. I knew it
Mm.
was a new one that they came out with, and the lady's like, "Oh my gosh, you should try it." And I was like, No, because when I tried the peach crown, then it took me forever to be able to find it again. So I'm just gonna stick
Oh,
with what I know. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm fine with what I
Yeah, it's
with
hard
what I
to run
have.
out of stuff that you love.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I have a another thing that I do, and maybe I've not, I guess I must not have ever talked to you about it before, but I
Ooh,
do a thing called a sipper club
okay. No, we
where
haven't talked
I,
about that.
oh my gosh. Yeah, once a month, my crew gets together, we do a Zoom and I send a recipe out, a cocktail recipe, and then we make it together and sip and talk. So it's conversations and cocktails with brilliant women once a month.
Penny,
I know.
I feel so hurt. Like I, it's like I don't even know what to describe this as right now. Like my level of hurt that
Oh,
I don't even know what to compare it to at this point. Like I just feel
oh
like
gosh.
I feel like I've been bamboozled, like I've been
Oh
led
no.
astray, and wow. So this is what okay.
This is what we've come to.
This is what we've come to, all the cocktail recipes that I
Well,
possibly missed out on. And
well, you can catch up, I'm pretty sure,
okay.
but I think you'd love the December one.
Okay. Yeah. Let
So,
me
and I make them up as I go, so they're like unique to us. And I
mhm.
called it "Son of a Nutcracker."
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Okay.
So it had Crown,
Mm-hmm.
and it had
Okay.
Bailey's Irish Cream, and then hazelnut liqueur. So that is Frangelico.
Okay.
Frangelico. Yeah, and you mix those three together. I called it "Son of a Nutcracker."
Sounds like a
And
very good name for it.
yeah, if you top it off with like, I used club soda because I don't like it as sweet, but if
Mm-hmm.
you could probably use, like 7 Up or something, a little bit sweeter
Okay, got you.
and make it a little sweeter and I called that one sparkling son of a nutcracker.
Okay. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you make it though, there's a pro tip.
Okay.
You have to start with the Baileys
Mm.
and then add the Frangelico and then
Okay.
do the crown or the whiskey last because otherwise it'll curdle and that's not pretty.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's a certain like some things you have to do it in a certain order or it just
Yep.
doesn't taste right and
Doesn't
it's just
work.
yeah, it's
Yep.
just completely off. I'm like that with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of my stuff, especially if it's something that I'm just kind of creating myself. If it tastes
Mm-hmm.
right the first time that I make it, I'm like it always has to go in
That
this
same
order. I
order.
can't yeah, that same order. I cannot switch it up or it's not going to be right. So, okay. All right.
Kind of a
Well,
good
Penny,
metaphor for life.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, Penny, now I feel like the least you can do send me the recipes to these cocktails. You can at least share them with me that way.
I will do that. And I will include,
Okay.
I'll send you the link to my Sipper Club too, so you can check it out and see if you might like to join us and
Okay.
all of that. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
So
cry
I
after
got to
this
tell
episode.
Yum, yum, yum. It is 'tis the season. So, I've been working on changing up my website and making it
Okay.
more current. And then also, well, I switched to a new platform because with my classes that are coming up, I want to be able to password protect some of the
Oh yeah, that makes
tools and the
sense.
materials.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I couldn't do that before with the old tool. Or the old website platform. So I've switched everything over, and I was like on pins and needles last night because it's been 3 days since I
Yeah.
flipped the switch.
I saw that.
And
I think your Instagram post I saw. Yes.
yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, but it's live. So I haven't announced it yet on Instagram. You're the first to know. So it is
Okay.
live now though. So for anybody listening to this, it'll be live for, probably a few weeks anyway, but by the time I release the episode. But yeah, so go check it out. It's still called pennyforyourshots.com.
Okay.
But then there are some other like offerings and couple of recipes I think I put on there too, and podcast episodes. So you can check out your other episodes on there in the podcast tab.
Okay, cool. Okay. You've redeemed yourself, Penny. You've redeemed
Okay,
yourself now.
good.
So
Sure.
yes, yeah, I saw your post and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, that is so frustrating when you're trying to like switch over your sites and everything. So I'm so happy that finally went through for you and it is up
it
and
did.
running
They
now.
had to do a hard refresh on their side. So I mean, everything was set up correctly, everything was cool, but it got clogged up in the behind the scenes stuff on their end. So yeah, I was able to get it fixed through them, and now all's good.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Well, is there anything I didn't ask you that you'd want to share with my audience?
I think that's all, Penny. I think they got, a bit of my current day life story here. So I think we're good. As always, it is such a pleasure chatting with you and so much fun. So thank you again for having me back on the show again.
Thank you. And I'll include your links and stuff in the show notes, but just remind everybody, what's your where should they go to find you best?
Okay, definitely. So you can check out my Instagram handle is usually where I kind of hang out the most, is at the Modco SC. And then my new Instagram handle for the PR Toolkit podcast is at What's in Your Toolkit. So yeah, I usually put out a lot of information on those two as well. And then also I have a newsletter on LinkedIn now. It's called the Modco Podcast Recap. So it's little like excerpts and snippets from my episode, and then it links you to the full episode. So if you type that into your Google search, that'll come up as well, and you can subscribe to the newsletter.
Very cool. And yeah, so for anybody wondering, that's Modco, MOD,
yes,
CO, and then SC. Right?
Yes, correct. Yes,
or
I had
South
to think
Carolina.
about it myself. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I always have to think it through as I'm typing it in.
Yeah, I have to think about it sometimes too, and sometimes I like fat finger it and I like switch something around, like, because you know how Google will save like your usernames and stuff, and so one day I just clicked it and I didn't realize that I had like messed it up, and I'm typing my password. I'm like, that is my password. That is, what do you mean you can't find me?
I swear it
and
is.
I look closer and I said, oh, because that's not the right email. That's not the right domain there. Oops. Bad.
Oh well.
Yeah,
it happens. And away we go.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, gosh, it's so good to see you again and talk with you, catch up a bit.
Same. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll have to do this again next year, like in 2025 soon.
Yes. I'm here for it. So let me know.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm here for it, Penny.
Good.
All right.
Thanks, Angel. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yes. Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on another spirited episode of Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women. I hope you've enjoyed the intoxicating blend of wisdom, wit, and wonder that these incredible women bring to the table. Check out the show notes for links to resources referenced in today's episode. And remember to subscribe and raise a glass with me every Thirsty Thursday as we continue to serve up inspiration, celebrate resilience, and reignite the passions that set our souls on fire. If you've loved what you've heard, please share the podcast far and wide and leave a sparkling 5-star review to let me know your thoughts. It would also help tremendously if you would visit pennyforyourshots.com and subscribe to learn when new episodes are available and pick up my free recipe. In the meantime, remember that your story deserves to be served and savored. Cheers to your brilliance and of women everywhere. Until next time, keep sipping and experiencing life's extraordinary moments. This is Penny for Your Shots, signing off with a clink and a toast to us. Cheers.